Come on in.
Where's the juice?
What if I told you that Florida State was playing a top 5 team, a team that they scraped by last year by 1 point on the road, a team that was ranked higher than them? Vegas thought they were better than them. So did the AP poll, 5 versus R8. What if I told you that team was tied at halftime, 17-17? Tough sledding, right? What if I told you that team ground an SEC powerhouse, well-coached, deep, better recruited, Brian Kelly, nerd-ass team into fine Tony Shasheri's Cajun powder and made them quit? That is right. Florida State is here. Florida State is real. And my God, how are you going to defend this offense? Everything that we thought that this team could be, my God, were they in the second half. And that LSU team, no joke, brother. Bounced offense, bounced defense, way better offensive line than I expected, particularly in pass blocking, and it didn't mean shit. They died. They got beaten. They got broken down systematically by the LSU transfer portal depth. Guess what? It was developed, and my God, was it deadly. Nobody, and my God, nobody made a statement in week 1 like Florida State has in a fortnight or more. They smacked them. They were a little nervy at first, which is the only reason why it was close. But my God, when they settled in, what you gonna do, brother, when number 4 is coming for your ass? Boys, the group chat was NSFW. It was brutal, but my God, I feel like I even undersold it.
I may have promised Ingram all of my chicken money tonight, just FYI.
And that is a hell of a nest egg. Adam, I'm gonna let you guys go, and we'll talk about specifically what happened, because this game was a roller coaster of emotions for the first half, and then they pulled the Terry Funk plastic bag and they asphyxiated Ric Flair with it in the second half. My God, what an absolutely brutal domination. Adam, give me your thoughts. Kevin, you're next, but dude, I know I'm glowing, and it ain't the rain light. I'm basking. I am basking hard. Go ahead, Adam.
Oh, man. The group chat was on absolute fire. I am a superstitious, freaking classic football coach.
Big time, dude.
My heart is racing.
Negative.
I don't want to talk about winning or blowing people out until that freaking clock hits 0. And everybody always gives me shit on these things. Says, "Oh, he doesn't have any energy." I can't possibly have any energy. I'm a nervous wreck during these football games, so I'm going to do my best here. That was an absolute incredible. That I haven't felt like that since Pitt in 2013. Like, just watching them go out and absolutely dismantle somebody. Everybody was firing at him for at halftime. Yeah, I want to give you the middle finger right now, but I'm not going to, because I'm lying.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I don't want to make anybody mad. But yeah, walk those takes back a little bit. They were a little hot at the time. You needed to slow your roll. Kevin and I talked a lot about in the first half. It seemed like Jordan was in complete control at the line of scrimmage. He was making a lot of checks. He was moving guys around. It looked like he was changing a lot of plays. I would love to know. We won't know. Maybe Mike will talk about it, or somebody will talk about it this week or tonight. But it seemed like they simplified the offense. They took the reins back over on the sideline, let him make some of the basic checks, for
in the second half. In the first half, I'm with you.
No.
Seemed
even
like,
before,
okay.
I would say even before the end of the first half, on that last drive, it seemed like they settled things in. They simplified things. They kind of focused in on what they wanted to do, took a little bit of pressure off of him, let him get his feet kind of settled, and then it was just absolute explosion. Like, it was incredible. They went to that two-back stuff. They put Bless Harrison.
Keandre Jones as well.
Yeah, Keandre Jones was
Harrison
shot.
Jones.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I'll say be talking and chatting. At
I
the same
don't. Did they get highlighted in the broadcast? Because
I don't
Bless
think
Harris
they
and
did.
Keandre
Bless Harris
Jones
absolutely played. I
No.
can't wait to go back and when we do our film review and watch those guys play because they put Jones in there to stop giving up penetration. They were getting penetrated to death. I know, kids show, but Jones kind of settled that down. They were able to start moving people with bigger bodies. It seemed like Meach was getting moved around a little bit by Wingo. They were just shooting gaps and just absolutely destroying them. Mo wasn't able to get back to the 3-tech on some of their counter stuff. They altered their scheme a little bit. Again, I'm excited to go back and watch what they did a little bit differently.
It's going to be glorious.
Yeah, it is going to be glorious. I mean, bottom line is Keon Coleman is the mother freaking man. That dude changes everything. And then you get Johnny on these bang 8 routes, and it's just unstoppable. And then, all right, so I need to go back on every bad take I had in the preseason. Lawrence Toafili, tip the cap, should have put you in my top.
Brother, such an effective weapon out of the backfield. Solid, hard to cover, and when you're focused on everything else,
I couldn't save that
the
shit,
guy.
man.
He's the guy on the 4th down.
Yeah.
He's the guy on the 4th down that did the damage.
Yeah.
And
that was the biggest play of the game.
There's so many things, man, like Preston Daniel blocking his ass off. The thing that really stuck with me, I almost put myself in the LSU defender shoes in that 3rd and 4th quarter. What are you going to do? Every single angle, Keon Coleman, Johnny Wilson, Jaheim Bell, Lawrence Toafili out of the backfield, Trey Benson when he starts to get a little bit of daylight for his running room. Every single angle, they had them running horizontally. They beat them down. They ground an SEC team that has out-recruited them for, God, a decade. They're the deeper, better team.
Yeah,
it should have been a worse ass whooping.
I'm not sure I can trim the beard. There's some beard talk. I can't. I'm too freaking superstitious.
Your beard's fine. Don't ever touch your face
for the rest of the season until they lose. Wear these clothes.
Your face is immaculate. It's immaculate.
So anyway, but back on my bad takes. Like LT should have had you in the top 40. It was kind of what he's always been, though. He looked like a better runner. He was more effective on some of those counter runs because they were tight.
He's more decisive.
They were squirting through for 3 or 4, and that was effective. Then you hit him on the big throw. Shout out to Jaheim Bell. He blocked his freaking rear end off tonight. Like you've got to tip the cap to him. He came and played like a big boy tight end tonight and showed it. And he
got rewarded with 2 touchdowns at the end.
He was rewarded with 2 touchdowns.
Punish the LSU defender at the end.
Yeah.
Kevin, I want to hear your take on it. We're going to go through the game. I think chronologically is the best because, my God, that was right into the second half to where I don't want to say it because I think LSU's a good team, but that first half was a fluke of Florida State's own making. They are such a better team than them, and it showed. And it's a better team with more sample size, with more plays. As the game wore on, Florida State outclassed them. But, Kevin, give me your thoughts on the game. You were a smidge negative in that group chat in the first half. I had to pull you out of it. You talked about duds and lemons and busts. What do you think now?
Let's be fair. AB was saying, like, F this team. And I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe our expectations were too high. And you're like, Kevin, you need to chill out.
I did.
No, I mean, come on. The story of the game to me was figuring out the run game in the second half. So whether that was putting Bless Harris and Keandre Jones in there or whether that was changing how they ran counter, I have a feeling that they probably tried to put less pressure on Maurice Smith to reach the 3 technique. He was struggling getting to Mekhi Wingo on some of those counter plays, allowing that penetration. You didn't see any of that in the second half. So I think they must have made some sort of adjustment there. But once they were able to block and able to get at least some consistent run game going, Jordan Travis took over. And Jordan Travis, if you can see here, is him. And I think he's the best player in college football. And in the first half, Jaden Daniels was a better quarterback than Jordan Travis. In the second half, Jordan Travis was the best player in college football. And I don't think you can convince me otherwise. He led an offense that put 45 points up on what's going to be a top 15 defense come season's end. Mark my words. The dude is legit. He makes the right reads every time. He throws the ball accurately downfield. Now he's got Keon Coleman to throw it to, who just catches everything, I guess. just an unreal amount of talent around him. And if you're able to run the ball on top of that, I don't care who you are. I think LSU is a legitimate top 10 team. You saw it in the first half. They have freaks on that roster that Florida State doesn't have.
Mm-hmm.
Florida State doesn't have a Mekhi Wingo that can just blow crap up on the interior. But Florida State doesn't have a weakness that you can just exploit. And
I was talking to Bud at halftime about what was going on, and we were both kind of saying, like, it looked like LSU was kind of handling Florida State in the trenches because they just kind of had more pro bodies. They were bigger. They looked bigger. They looked more explosive.
Yep.
And I don't think Keandre Jones will get the credit that he deserves. I'm sure he made mistakes. I mean, that's going to happen over the course of a game, but it really seemed like he came in and we didn't hear from Mekhi Wingo the rest of the game after that. The penetration just kind of stopped. Some of that, I do believe, was some of that two-back stuff we need to talk about. Again, I'm curious to go back. You just can't see the secondary, these things of what was going on, but it seemed like they were able to balance LSU up and get the look from the secondary rotations with the two-back stuff. So I think that was obviously a vital part of the game plan. Somebody said, Derek Russo said that Bless was in the first quarter. I didn't see that. How about Harold Perkins? Somebody made the comment above. He was non-existent. When they rushed him, they absolutely smothered him.
Yeah,
he was a mute. And
where did he rush mostly?
Both sides. They put him left side, right side. They'd bring him off the edges. He was non-existent in the football game. It was kind of wild.
Did he make a tackle?
That's
I'm not
an
even
impact
sure.
Football player. Okay, Derek said, yeah, and I trust Derek. He's got a good eye for football. No, he thought he saw him in the second quarter. So I'll take your word for it, there, Derek. My eyes are all over.
We got to go back and watch that. But something changed with the run game.
So let's go. Let's go back and we'll take it chronologically. Huge game. It's tough to think about now because we know, my God, how it ended. But that was a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah.
Huge top 8 matchup. Massive implications for a season where Florida State is 100% gone all in on. And a very even matchup of teams. Physical, at some points, I'm not even going to get into the refs because we won by 3 touchdowns.
They were pathetic. That was garbage.
Absolute.
That OPS.
I don't have the vocabulary expansive enough to say without making this NSFW. Garbage. Trash. Terrible refs, whatever, didn't matter. That's how good we are. But that first half matchup was very interesting. Now, Florida State's defense, I think we can start with the defense.
Okay.
I don't think they played fantastic, but situationally, the impact of those transfers, Braden Fisk, but also the development of like a DJ Lundy. The play before in space, not his finest moment. Afterwards, on that blitz, the aggression, the athletic ability, the physicalness impacted that play. So situationally, Florida State played a good enough defense to keep their elite offense in the game. And I think that's going to be a theme all year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's crazy because they handled this team, which is the first or second toughest test of their entire season. It's tough to see where they go from here. Absolutely. LSU is so balanced, so well coached, so complete. But we'll talk about the first half. Adam, I want your thoughts. Why do you think they fell short? They kept it 17-17, but there was a lot of executions. As a former coach, do you think it was emotions?
I do. I thought they pressed. They were clearly pressing. I mean, you were getting hits. They were looking to impose their will on LSU early, and it was going against them. They were getting hits out of bounds. I mean, they were trying to play bully, and ultimately it went in their favor, and they did bully LSU as the game went on. But it looked like they were trying to play bully. They were really pressing. Again, we kind of talked about the offense. It looked like Jordan had a ton of control. They simplified things in the first half and then took off. Defensively, they got stuff because of stupid penalties. I mean, guys just making uncharacteristic plays that we've seen them kind of get out of their system over the last couple of years.
The miscommunications were a little bit glaring. Like there was a couple times where it was obviously they tightened it up and they tightened the screws.
The first play, everybody's going to point to.
It's not so much the first play. There was a couple times where there was some lost in translation, even on like specifically man coverage. We talked about it in our group chat. I was a little bit, and you got to give LSU. They have a really good offensive coordinator. The motions, everything. They really played to Jaden Daniels' strength. It doesn't matter when we're that much better than you. You will die eventually. However, they did a nice little job scheming that game. What do you think about the secondary issues? Is something can get cleaned up? I personally do, with the improved play of guys like Greedy Vance and Jerry Jones. I thought that they really asserted themselves. Fentrell Cypress had a rough assignment. There was a lot of times where he was on an island against Malik Neighbors, and I thought that he really handled himself bravely. I thought that he did a good job. That is a tough matchup for any. I'm trying to think of the right adjective, but dude, competent play specifically in the second half.
They seemed to attack him and wanted to go after him, and they were able to
like
get
5 plays in a row at the end of the first half, right?
Yeah, but, I mean, even besides that, I mean, throughout the game, they just seemed to go at him, and they were able to get some. But you're going to get some, and they're going to be willing to give up those plays. Kev kept begging them to kind of start pressing some of these short routes, and I just don't think that that's what they want to do. I think they're okay with giving that up, rallying, tackling the football, and then just keeping it in front of you. They played a little bit of I saw some robber stuff. Again, we'll go back. It's so hard to tell on these damn TV copies what's going on in the secondary. They played a ton of man coverage though, ultimately, which is what they want to do. And yeah, they blew a couple assignments, but I think in the long run, it was better and cleaner than what we've seen in the past. So,
oh god, yeah,
and that's a top 5 wide receiver core in the country. Like,
right.
They were having to man on all night against the top 5 wide receiver core in the country, and they weren't getting a lot of safety help because they were rolling down to try to stop Jaden Daniels from getting loose too often. So it's like, that's a hard freaking assignment.
Yeah,
I wouldn't sell too hard on the secondary.
They hit a weird run there when they went down right before half. Renardo Green's got to stay outside. He can't stick his nose inside. It's a play that they clearly watched the Oklahoma tape. I thought they went and got a lot of Oklahoma stuff and ran that this year against Florida State, which was interesting. And not surprised, but interesting for sure.
Oklahoma was able to hit them over the top, and LSU couldn't.
And LSU built on that by attacking the backers a lot, Adam, to your point. However, it was something that they were able to clean up either in halftime or maybe playing a little bit cleaner. But I'm with you on that. The secondary. Do you think it was just communication issues? Because I thought that they played a very solid second half. This team, it's trending up, and it's very encouraging. What do you think about this defense's outlook for the rest of the season? They honestly, I don't know if it's the best offense they played tonight. I think it's the most balanced offense they played tonight.
Yeah.
And especially with the scheme employed. There was a lot of very good scheme stuff that created a lot of distortion, a lot of noise in that first half, and then it didn't matter in the second half.
It seemed like, and then I'd love to hear Kev kind of talk about the game on paper stuff if we can. It seemed like Fuller was way more aggressive than he's been in his time here.
For sure.
They varied the fronts, which Brendan and Chris and others have talked about. Like they were going to be more. There's going to be more variety out of this defense. We saw that. I thought there was some alignment issues early. There was an alignment issue on the big Jaden Daniels run. They seemed to get that corrected. And I thought overall the secondary played really well. It just I think there's some eye discipline stuff that is going to happen in a first game. Anxiety, guys wanting to do too much. I think that's some stuff they're going to clean up. We'll see. Like the one on Azaria Thomas, on Azaria, that's eye discipline there. I mean, he's seeing something else fading off of Brian Thomas. I believe that's who it was. He can't do that, and that's something they've got to clean up. They've got it on tape now. You let Surtain get in there in the room with them and work on cleaning it up. But somebody asked about who broke the rock. Keon Coleman broke the rock.
Good for him, dude.
I think that's more than deserved.
And the thing is, Kevin, I want you to talk about the defense, what you saw from like the secondary schemes, both offense and defensive. The impact of the transfers that Florida State brought in. And guess what? LSU brought in just as many, just not as good. Integrating them into the team, their impact. Braden Fisk, you covered his feet and rubbing alcohol set him on fire. That kid is ridiculous. Keon Coleman is him and Jaheim Bell, dude. It's unfair. It's literally unfair. You're going to give Mike Norvell, big brain, mega mind offensive guy, those type of dudes on top of the offense that he had last year. The work that Florida State did in the transfer portal, my God, was it not even just the skill positions. Like, guys, Keandre Jones that we talked about, Bless Harris from a couple years ago. He didn't even play last year, and he took it personally. Look at the meme. This team is constructed in such a way, I cannot imagine watching it as an opposing fan. So frustrating, multiple, exhausting. Kevin, what did you see from like the secondary perspective, offensive and defensive? And what do you think was the difference in the second half where we took a hammer out and bashed their brains in?
Yeah, so they put a lot of trust in their secondary, having a one-on-one cover Malik Neighbors, who's one of the best wide receivers in the country. Will you bring up that game on paper stuff, AB?
Yep.
Yeah, so if you scroll down a little bit, you can see that impact that Braden Fisk, and even I was low on the defensive line, and they proved me wrong. Look at that purple right there. The defensive run stuff rate, 13%. So you can see that they were kind of stuffing up the run. 13% of run plays were being stuffed. Or I guess it's 15%.
Yeah, for LSU.
Which is first percentile. So you're taking an offensive line that's regarded as one of the best offensive lines in the country and stuffing them 15% of plays. That's interior defensive line dominating a really good squad. And they're doing it without a ton of help. They trusted him inside to win. Braden Fisk is the man. I was low on Josh Farmer. He showed out today. They were doing a lot of stunts to try to keep Jaden Daniels contained. You could see a lot of times they were trying to they would have the interior defensive tackles kind of roll outside and the defensive ends roll inside to try to kind of have more speed towards the middle of the field where they knew that Jaden Daniels would try to take off. I'm not too worried about the secondary. They played a lot of man coverage against a team that is probably the hardest team to play man coverage against outside of maybe Washington. And they did fairly well. And you see, like, okay, so we talk about Adam Fuller playing a light box, playing almost like a bend but don't break kind of offense. And you can see that why they do that perfectly here. So if you go down to production, you can see that LSU had 7.69 yards per play compared to FSU 7.74. So you can see, like, on a yards per play metric, they're very similar.
Oh, look at that next one, baby. Look at that next one, baby.
Yeah. EPA per play, or EPA total, Florida State is completely outplaying them. So those explosive plays don't necessarily turn into points, and that's what wins football games.
Kevin, I love it. And I think the thing that made me more encouraged in this team, if you could be, by a 3-touchdown victory against a legitimate top 5, sprinkled with elite athletes all over the field, situationally, even in the first half, I thought they played a lot of outside themselves. They got a little bit too aggressive with a bitch-ass referee team. My God, like I said, I don't want to talk about it. Situationally, it's the same thing as the baseball game. You got to know how the umps call in the game, and you got to adjust your play style as such. I don't think they did a great job of that. Even with that, situationally, in the red zone, dialed up the intensity.
Yeah.
Second half, money downs. Third down. I don't know what the third down percentage was. What was it, like 9 of like 13 or something? The conversion rate was disgusting. Dialed up the intensity on the money downs. 3rd and 12. The one thing that really stuck out to me, that first drive, they had a 1st and 25. We're talking NFL blitz number conversion ratings. That's a drive killer, right? An OPI on first down. Not for this team. Chip, execute. And Jordan Travis with 342 yards passing, 4 touchdowns through the air, another 38 on the ground, and another one, 5 total touchdowns. Didn't even play his best game. You guys are screwed, dude.
Yeah.
This is disgusting. And it's not the Alabamas, the Georgias. It hasn't been built over decades and decades and decades. But Adam, the skill talent, the continuity, the coaching advantage that very clearly exists over an LSU team that is so competently coached both offensively and defensively. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but 45-24 against a legit-ass LSU team, how can I not, man? Why should I back it down?
Kev, tell me what EPA is again. We got some people asking.
So EPA is estimated points added. So it takes into account all sorts of things like down distance, yard position, and it assigns a point. So if from one goal line to the other goal line is a touchdown, that is a 7-point play.
Yeah.
So to give a reference, Jordan Travis by himself accounted for 24 EPA on the game, which is more than LSU scored total.
Right.
Ooh.
Compared to Jaden Daniels at 0.11.
All right. I'm blocking Trey here. I saw this one too and it jumped out to me. I agree, but don't you worry when we are giving up all those yards and big plays going up against a team that converts a lot of red zone scores. I mean, it paid off tonight, but I do worry long-term this season. You may not see a better offense this season.
And
That's a top 5 offense.
And you just dog whooped it.
And Adam, the thing is, I agree. That's a very salient. That's a very good
absolutely.
point.
Yep.
But when Florida State struggled last year in the trenches, obvious running downs.
Yep.
Obvious situations where the difference in the line of scrimmage made the difference. Florida State could not disguise that. They got whooped. And tonight it was the opposite.
You dominated their standard run game.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It was non-existent. Their standard run game was non-existent. And that's a drastic difference from last year.
That's the one thing I was worried about. I said before the game, if LSU's offensive line can push you around, they have a chance to win, and they didn't.
Yeah.
And they're good, Kevin.
That's huge.
They're really good. And I thought they were a very good pass blocking team. It's a very talented front, a lot of NFL-ready bodies. But, man, the combination of the game plan, the bodies thrown at it, and limiting what you wanted LSU to limit, that red zone stuff is so promising to me. The communication things, I think, will get worked out. The red zone, when it is time to man up, put the nuts in a wheelbarrow and sack up and go to town. They showed up every single time. And my God, the mentality of this team, Adam, as a coach, it's immaculate, dude. They played a sloppy first half, kept it tied, and then took a club and beat them to death in the second.
They got a lot of balls. I mean, there's no other way to put it. They let their nuts hang, and
those defensive stops.
It just is what it is.
Huge, right, Kevin?
That defense just keeps coming at you. What's that, Kev?
The balls were displayed on the 3rd and short, 4th and short that they didn't win last year.
Think about this team over the past couple of years.
Presented balls.
They were on the, what was it, the 1 or 2 yard line, and LSU went backwards. That DJ Lundy drive there where he finished it with a sack. I mean, multiple 4th down stops. We haven't seen that out of this program in a while. They're just letting their nuts hang. I mean, they've taken on the attitude of their head coach, and we talked to them. We talked to the guy.
Yeah,
I mean, he pretty much. And I asked him a boatload of questions about mentality, and he kept saying the same thing over and over again: work. Show up every day, be consistent. And that's just what they do. And it's what you saw in this game. We saw them. I think I said in the group chat, in the first half, they looked like Florida from 2 years ago. They were pressing like crazy. They weren't handling the moment very well. And then
more talented, but still tight, right?
Everything just
Overthinking
changed.
it.
It's
Yeah.
like they realized, they figured it out very quickly. We belong here. Not only do we belong here, we're a lot better than you. And they went out and proved it.
And the fact that you can flip that switch against a legitimate top 5, top 10 team, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You won by 3 touchdowns as a 5-point underdog.
Yeah.
Against a team that we all saw, talent on every level of the team. They do not have a legitimate hole. Jane Daniels could probably scan the field a little bit better, attack the ball downfield better. However, great coaching, catered to his style. You beat their ass. And you beat their ass so significantly that they didn't want to be on the field at the end.
Florida fans are besides themselves. They want the portal.
Why?
They want the portal to be closed down very quickly. Oh,
I bet you would. Nerd alert!
Glorious evening. Oh,
listen, dude, just focus on.
This would be the worst time for them to. They've got to change that roster fast.
900 coaches, 100 jersey numbers.
Can we talk about
you got your own shit to figure out? Not our problem.
Can we talk about how much they ran under center tonight? That was interesting.
Yeah, several times. Dude, yeah.
Okay, Adam, that's a great point. The formational diversity, the willingness to stick to the running game, which we all thought might have been a detriment in the first half. They switched it up. The options that Mike Norvell has is so impressive.
Yeah.
And I thought just watching them on a per drive basis, the number of formations they got into, it's exhausting, dude. And I can't imagine what it's like to be a defender because you have to account for every angle, every formation, every player, every horizontal movement, every motion.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ, they motioned them to death.
All right,
what do you do,
Michael,
man?
We're going to get into that in the film review.
We
need to look at it a lot closer. It seemed like they it seemed like they were able to balance the defense out and get the looks that they wanted. That's my really quick answer, but I want to watch it some more.
And then that's a good answer based on how we talked to Mike Norvell. Mm-hmm. It's a matchup based scheme, and there's so many ways with the tools that he has to get up in the matchups that he wants. I think 32 minutes in, I think we'll put a bow on it. Kev, what is your ultimate takeaway? We all went through a roller coaster of emotions in this game, which is hard to kind of fathom at the end with how dominant that they were. But what's your take on this team? You are our expert. You are the guy that studies the competition with a fine-tooth comb. What do you think of this team, man? You've watched a lot of football on tape.
Yeah, I mean, I would not sell on LSU. Honestly, they're probably going to get bad odds moving forward because Vegas is going to look at this game. I'd vote high on them if I were a better. But Florida State, you saw in the first half what they look like with an average quarterback. So I think Jordan Travis played like an average quarterback in the first half. In the second half, that's what happens when Jordan Travis is Jordan Travis. To me, I thought he was the best he was the best player I've seen all weekend. In a weekend chock full of football. And when he's on, when the offense is clicking, when you can get 3 yards of pop run and counter, and when he's got Jaheim Bell, Keon Coleman, and his third option is Johnny Wilson. Even on a bad night for Johnny Wilson, you're going to put 45 points up on a legitimate top 15, top 20 defense. So this is a legit team. This is the kind of thing that shows the country that you're ready to compete for a national championship. And they just dropped it right here in the first game of the season. This is the thing that Georgia did last year to LSU, and you just did it.
Yeah, dude. They smacked Oregon around. Adam, let me talk to you.
Yeah.
Florida State, a national championship contending team. They look the best out of any team this weekend.
First off, I appreciate the LA Knight reference there. Okay. That's my guy. Let's see. We're going to find out.
I'm not listening, dude.
Yeah, 3 weeks. That's
I'm
a
not
big
asking you to project.
test.
The week 0 and
3 weeks.
Adam, hold up, hold the negative, conservative.
I'm not being negative.
Not just wait a minute. Just wait a minute. The week 0 and week 1 games have been played. Who's the most impressive team in the country so far?
Florida State.
With a bullet. Let's go. Let me talk to you.
And Jordan Travis finally had his Heisman moment tonight.
He had so many 5 touchdowns, eviscerated.
That pull,
listen, guys.
That pull he made, that was insane.
Dude. Oh, I will say, Adam, I'm going to let you go, but my God, the TV commentary is usually lacking the awareness of the play side versus back play side. Go ahead, Adam, as a coach. Dude, is that just all JT or what's going on with that?
Yeah,
what
no,
a
that's
freak natural play.
That's 1,000% him. He's reading the front side and just felt the pressure on his backside and pulled it out the gate. I mean, that was insanity. Insanity. The crazy
Daniels
part
doesn't do that.
No, hell no. They left so many yards. I can't wait to look at it. They left so many yards on the field tonight. It's insane. I bet Mike is absolutely pulling his freaking hair out right now about it. How about Jaheim Bell scoring on jet sweep on the goal line? Suck on that, boys. All the freaking goal line haters out there. Oh, why they run it? It's trick. This is what happens when you got a good player running the freaking play.
Boys, a night that portends good things to come. A lot of expectations, a lot of hype, a lot of pressure. The team reacted but responded. Massive showing against a team that anybody can see from their eyes, LSU. Very, very good. I cannot wait to talk about this team with you people for the rest of the season. God, because it feels so good. I know you felt it. I felt it. Everybody on the Knowles 24/7 message board felt it. If you're not subscribed, Jesus Christ, pull yourself together. Do it. Drink a jug of Chattanooga whiskey. Sell your house with the Turner Group. Play some college football dynasty on Steve. 95% rating. And my God, stay with us for the ride because, boys, you cleared a big old fat Cajun hurdle.
Trey's definitely getting ready to go live in a van. But
it is time. It is time, Matt Foley, to finish the rest of the job. We love you for Adam, for Kevin, for myself. We are going to get into the nitty gritty. Subscribe to the Knowles 24/7 YouTube. Subscribe to the X's and Knowles YouTube. We're going to get into the nitty gritty, but boys, bask in it.
Yeah.
Nobody looked better than us. And we told you we would. Love you.
Film review is going to drop Wednesday, just a little bit of programming notes. Film review is going to drop Wednesday for all of you that are going to be looking for that. And Trey forgot the biggest one. I texted Ingram. I texted Ingram at halftime and said, "You can have all my money. If you guys aren't members, what are you waiting on?"